So Labor have been quite economically clever and politically savvy with their super changes announced today. The Prime Minister and his Treasurer came out on the front foot after a week of debate and speculation, and they detailed proposed superannuation changes. From 2025, earnings on super accounts containing more than $3 million in savings will no longer get the concessional 15% tax rate. They'll be taxed at 30%, still a concession of sorts. So this is a tax change to prevent a rort, in effect, people using the super system to protect massive savings rather than to provide a retirement nest egg. There are apparently 17 people in this country with more than $100 million in super. Apparently about 80,000 have more than the $3 million and will be affected, and this measure could return about $2 billion a year to the budget, depending, of course, on how people shift their investments around.
This proposal does not change the fundamentals of our superannuation system. 99.5% of people with superannuation are unaffected by this reform.
There'll still be tax concessions for you. They just won't be quite as generous as they were before.
Look, let's be clear. Labor has broken an election promise by making these changes. There is no doubt about that. Another Labor broken promise and another Labor tax increase. And who could blame the coalition for going hard on that and justifiably asking, where will it end?
They refused to rule out imposing capital gains tax on Australians' homes. They refused to rule out getting rid of negative gearing. And we know they're coming after franking credits. We also know from the Treasurer that he is keen to get rid of the stage 3 tax cuts.
Yeah, so I too am worried where it will end, and you will be as well. And so far, the pollies and the bureaucrats with their indexed pensions get off scot-free, but the government says they'll try to rope them in. We'll see. But look, while Labor should have been honest about this before the election, let's be realistic. They've dealt with that pretty neatly and fairly by saying their changes won't come in until after the next election. They won't actually tax another dollar, any extra money, until after the next election. So voters will get a say before a single dollar of extra tax is paid. The real worry with Labor's super plans remains, however, and that's the plan to prescribe and guide the investments made by super funds. This is the part that's always worried me most. It's offensive. It is theft. The government forces us into compulsory super, which is bad enough, but at least the funds should be left alone to try to maximise returns for their members. But Labor wants to use the huge pools of super funds to invest in pet projects, such as social housing and renewable energy. This has the makings of possible financial disasters and certainly dud returns for you and me. But worst of all, it betrays investors. We don't hand over our hard-earned tax dollars to indulge our hard-earned savings dollars, to indulge Labor's woke policy agenda. We do it just for two reasons. Because we have to, because superannuation is compulsory, so we don't have a say in the matter, but then secondly, because we deserve the best possible returns. Labor will meddle with this at its peril.